Stephen Teo is a fashion and documentary photographer based in Lagos. A true flaneur, his work depicts the characters, outfits, and scenes he encounters on his journeys wandering throughout his home city. Stephen's interest in the everyday goes far deeper than just surface level aesthetics, though, and goes back to his degree in philosophy. Well, tonight he's joining us from Lagos to talk through this link between photography and philosophy in his work. And Stephen, I'd love if you could turn on your audio and video so we can actually see you. There you are. You're still muted. There you go. Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. I've been home all day today, just chilling, to be honest. Yeah.
That sounds all right. Yeah, I think we're all pretty used to that now, aren't we? But you said that Nigeria is going into a bit of a kind of a second lockdown potentially. When we were talking before, how has that been affecting your I guess your creativity over the past kind of couple of months?
I've had to now understand what really are important in life. To be very honest, it's been more of me reflecting, reading, and reaching out to the loved ones and like making sure I kind of keep in touch with people. The pandemic, as no one actually ever assumed, we are going to be here, has, changed everything, like, the way we think, what we prioritize on and everything. And in Lagos we're getting this scary parts where, we have more cases than before now, more deaths than before now. And we might be forced into another phase of lockdown. Also because we don't see any traces of any vaccine anytime soon. So it's quite like, a very intense time, but we hope for the best.
Totally. Well, yeah, we wish you all the best, and obviously everyone, your family, and everyone in Nigeria. I'm going to leave you now to do your presentation. So if you wouldn't mind starting to share screen, and then I'll kind of leave you to talk through your work. And as I said to everyone else, if you do have any questions, click that Q&A button, and I'll try and get them in afterwards. All right, Stephen, I'll leave you to it.
Hi everyone. I'm just going to be sharing my journey as a philosophy student at the University of Lagos in Nigeria. When I was applying for uni, I wanted to do anthropology so bad because I love the idea of keeping the culture, just making sure there's a preservation, there's a dignity in where you're from, and I'm always about that life. And I felt like anthropology was going to kind of help me to see where to kind of join this together. Unfortunately, the university I put in for don't have anthropology. So then I researched again to see what was close to that. And I chose philosophy. I gained admission, and I kind of now felt like, philosophy was more like, what I actually needed, to study, to do all of those things. And we had to deal with so much on ethics, metaphysics, epistemology, like literally every, everything that kind of connects knowledge, how knowledge is achievable, how knowledge is, can be approached or can be seen. And this has actually been a journey for me as a photographer. Because as we all know, there's always this conversation around, what could be called an iconic image, what could be called, this is the most, the best photo of the year, the that of the year. And what philosophy does to me was to, first of all, validate my work by myself. And doing this was tough. I had to look inward, I had to kind of be stable on what is really available to me. And I felt like, this is the best way to go. And I just want to touch on what philosophy is for a bit. Philosophy generally is a love for wisdom, and it has made me to kind of connect how to touch on and the factors in philosophy into photography. So when I'm making documentary work, I think about how do I protect the dignity of the subject of the photo? How do I protect, the value of the person I'm photographing? Not necessarily, trying to, do what I want. So it's always about like collaboration. It's always about like two people working, community kind of effect on collaboration, rather than me actually forcing my own way on the way I shoot people. And I'm going to share, for example, some of the series I've worked on in the past. Ibegi means literally twins. And the research approach to this work was, I wanted to kind of look at how, two people can look alike, and two people dress alike, two people kind of, always want to, just have the same identity. And the research was, what if they actually don't want to look alike? So there's always this assumption, and this is also a research based on what I see around me in Lagos, in Nigeria. How, when people actually give birth to identical twins, the first thing that comes to their head is how to make sure like they have the same haircut, the same, outfit, the same, accessories and all of that. So I felt like, this also could be damaging to this psychological, activity of different, like different, like, set of twins. And I worked on this for 7 months, and it's still ongoing. And I still haven't been able to come up with like an answer. And also applies to this set of twins as well. Who one is a medicine student, and the other one studying law. And for the most part, they just really always find themselves looking alike all the time. And it's also very like, funny to see that they don't really have control over the way they would love to actually look independently. And this was what, my Ibegi series was really like investigating. And you could see even this set of twins, even though they don't wear the same thing, like literally every time they go out, they feel this, they feel this this continuous synergy that kind of, say if she doesn't want to eat rice, the other one wouldn't eat rice, if that makes sense. So like there's this like constant, check and balance way of, them saying, oh, I'm going out today, do you want to come along? And the other one would be like, oh, I'm going out today, do you want to come along? So the Ibegi series was really, really looking at this situation. And I haven't concluded the project yet. So like the vision for me was to be able to shoot close to 500 set of twins. That's like the vision I set for myself. And these questions I'm asking really was informed about like when I did epistemology at the university, because when I'm really stuck on approach by which I want to go into in photography, I really just buy random textbooks that I see at bookshops to see what I can just find interesting. And then I was reading I was reading a book on epistemology, and I felt like it was like it was a nice thing to investigate, to see how really like the imbalance of like psychology has affected twins, especially like the identical ones. Also, like these are two girls who, funnily, are also like they wear the same thing. They actually are on the same job. They I think they are just like, for them, when I spoke to them, they think it is really impossible for them not to look alike. They wish, for example, to get married to like another set of twins. So and I kept asking if really like, if this is what they want for themselves. And they were like, this is what we've been, this is what we've been informed. This is what actually we've been like this all like since the beginning of our life. So like, and I felt like, like kind of looking into like the psychological effects that can generate is very interesting to see, because also like we need to also understand that like twins especially from this part of the world, was a big case. People don't think they should be seen as human beings. So like, and I also don't want to stress on the mythology around it. I feel like, because the work is really, really from like the from like now, what we see now. And I really felt like, having to, look alike, dress alike, um, necessarily doesn't mean they want to do the same thing. And that's really like the strength of the story for me. Um, and also these guys are, they work on AC here in Lagos. So like they literally are like co-workers. They do the same job. They are not married yet. So they also wish that they can marry also another set of twins. So like I felt like, it's their choice at the end of the day. But also I think this could be an interesting conversation to have. Like, how did they get to this, level where they want the same thing, and some people have argued that like identical twins is like giving birth to one child twice, and that was really like what I was investigating. um, Also like these two kids also wish and hope they become like, professional footballers in the future. And also it's very interesting to see another effect of, you know having to look alike, having to dress alike, and also kind of choosing the same path um, as identical twins. um, Also, these guys, actually, interestingly, they're from my university. They used to, I mean, one used to play basketball, and this one used to play volleyball. And I wanted to bring this case in because I feel like, they have been able to kind of like separate their choice of wants, and also it's also like a conversation. How do they come to this level? Um, and this also is like a very new series as no one has seen this before. It's never seen before. It's like a very interesting story that I feel like needs documentation in Lagos because we are known to be a lover of Afrobeat, Afro sound, and it's also very interesting to see that there are kids out there who necessarily don't want to be informed by the Afro music, but they want to like, also nurse the interest in ballet. And it's very interesting to see that um like so many young kids are really like, challenging amazing interest in dancing, interestingly in this form. And and this is Blessing, who started like ballet dance, I think a year and a half ago. And she said ever since she started, like she said this is like the best thing that's happened to her. And I felt like, it's really unusual for me, as a Lagosian, as someone who has been in Nigeria all his life, to see like someone really like passionate about, something that is seemed to be a foreign thing. So I felt like, I needed to create like a conversation of how people has actually like embark on this conversation of ballet to be foreign. Like, is it really foreign? Like, I also needed to kind of investigate why people think it's foreign. So I think, really like the series is really to expose the fact that, there's been a conversation around like, the dance being a foreign dance. And maybe like because there's a lack of documentation from the past, this actually could be something that's been within us for years that we don't know. So I felt like the need to, started like making this interesting series about kids who really love to, dance, and like just, not just dance, but in a very, very peculiar form of ballet. Um, and I spent like few days with the girls, and I really felt like, this is very outstanding. I felt really motivated because like when I was growing up, I really wanted to be the next Kobe Bryant. I really wanted, I wish I could become the next, big basketball star. But growing up, I realized like there was like a lot of like lack of opportunities, and I just needed to like pick a new interest. So I felt like these kids are very. I see myself in them in a way, and I'm making this story really to create as many awareness, and to kind of call out on so many people who could support, who could create so many opportunities, and to just kind of keep the hope alive. I think that's really like the motivation of this story. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where I would stop in my presentation. I hope you guys enjoy it, and hope you guys have fun with the rest of the speaker as well. Thank you very much.
Stephen, thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. Yeah, particularly, I mean, I love that ballet series so much. We've just got a couple of questions that have come through from our audience as well. And one thing I've seen you've spoken about this in the past. You've said you want to kind of showcase the beauty of Lagos. I guess what are those like preconceptions about Nigeria and Lagos in particular that you're keen to really challenge in your work? I know you kind of touched on this in your talk, but maybe just to go into it a little bit more.
I personally feel like there's like if I get your question well about like imagine using like kids for my documentary is the fact that when I was growing up, I didn't have any image of myself when I was 5 years old, when I was 2 years old, and I felt like if I'm going to be doing it for free for kids, I actually do not mind, because I felt like I actually don't know what I looked like when I was 10, when I was 15. I didn't have any images to show people that, oh, this was me when I was 12, when I was 9, when I was 2. And and also working with kids could be very difficult. What I would say to people is that they need to be careful. Like you need to sign as many consensual form as possible to make sure like the parents are giving you the full freedom to either document their kids or their siblings and whatnot. So I think also like there's this very like common saying in Nigeria that is like the children are the future. So anytime I kind of point camera to any young person, the first thing I see is myself. I felt like this could be me. And that's really what motivated like the story of the ballet, because basketball was a thing for me. Like I was really in love with basketball. I became really like obsessed and everything. And growing up, I felt like there's really like tiny opportunity in this sport in Nigeria, and I picked a new interest, and I'm not regretting. I mean, I still play basketball once in a while, but everything I really want to portray is as being like imagining myself in other people. How do I want to be seen? Like if you're making stories where people are like marginalized, like you have to also like always think about these people as yourself.
Yeah, totally. No, that's really interesting. The final question for you came from someone in our audience, and they said, like, when did you realize you can kind of apply what you learn in philosophy into photography? I think obviously you made that connection right at the start of your talk, but yeah, was there a specific moment you can kind of pinpoint?
Because also like it took me like some I think a year or two to be able to afford a camera. So I had like an iPhone 5, and I was using an iPhone 5 to shoot, and everybody said you're not a photographer, like if you use a mobile phone to shoot. And I kept telling them that, oh, that's what you think, and I kept using it. So I felt like, there's this part of philosophy that kind of informed me to kind of use what you have, there's really no, there's no guideline. There's no, you have to just, keep doing what you think is best for you, if you get what I mean. So I think philosophy has always been there, and I've always kind of, apply it one way or the other. So like I photographed using my mobile phone for a year before getting a camera, and I always tell people that reach out to me, oh, I'd like to be a photographer, I'd like to be this, I'd like to be that. I'm like, like it's a digital age, you can literally shoot from your iPhone now and print like a massive work, in a museum, you don't really necessarily need to think about the tools first. You think about like what you want to create. Like you need to think about like how you want to create. You need to think about like stories to be created rather than, this obsession with, tools. I need to change my camera today. I need to do that today. So I think that was really like, philosophy has always been there to kind of, guide me and like, self instinct, and God as well. I believe in God so much, yeah, that's pretty much.
Fantastic. Yeah, fair enough. No, thanks, Stephen. I think that's amazing advice for anyone in a kind of creative career of any kind. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
If
Thank
you
you
wouldn't
for
mind turning your audio and video off. But yeah, thank you again for joining us. That was amazing. It is time.